All right. Welcome to Lunch with a Doc. I'm Dr. Gary Arthur, Doctor of Chiropractic and Naturopathic Medicine here in downtown Laguna Beach. We've been doing this Lunch with a Doc now for, goodness, probably a year and a half now. And we've had a lot of fun, a lot of topics, a lot of people come in and spend a Wednesday afternoon with us. Today we wanted to talk to you about the concept of what to expect when your body's actually healing. You want to walk by us?
No, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Oh, you're all good. You're all good.
Yay.
My mailman.
All right.
Here's one of the happiest guys on the planet right there. So come on with us. Let's have some fun.
Hey, everybody.
You gonna take that?
I don't think we need
Well,
that
we
one.
better, because otherwise somebody might just walk off with it.
All right.
All right. So my daughter Maria here.
Hello.
and
Happy Wednesday.
Teresa is filming for us today. So we're gonna make it a. We usually start from there because that's where our office is.
Yep. And then we walk into the beautiful Laguna town. It's almost spring. It's in a few days because it wouldn't. Yeah, it's in less than 10 days. Spring is around the corner, so we can tell. Can you feel it in the air?
I do.
Spring is in the
Isn't
air.
it the spring equinox is the 21st
Yep.
usually, and I love that. And springtime's my favorite time. In fact, springtime, they always talk about spring cleaning.
Yes.
So we just met last week and we talked about fasting, and it's a great time to clean out your closet, clean out your body, clean out your boxes of papers and stuff that Teresa helped me with, and I went through 9 boxes of stuff.
Yeah.
We're gonna pick up a little guacamole, and I've been intermittent fasting today, so I usually try to break my fast with a high-fat meal and then just go ketogenic. We talked the other week about doing intermittent fasting, maybe Monday through Friday, then having a feast day of higher carbs so your body doesn't go into fat adaptation, which is it'll just want to hold on to fat, and I don't want it to hold on to fat anymore. Really don't. And then Sunday you do a day of fasting where you don't eat until Sunday night. So that's called a 5-1-1 procedure, and that's another thing Dr. Daniel
I'll
Pompa.
go grab the food
Okay.
while you can give people the insight into your fasting.
Yep. And let's go over here. Yeah, just go right up. You don't have to wait. You just take the card right up and just wait for the to-go order. You don't have to wait. Let's go over here, Teresa. Let's find just a little spot. Let's go down here. I love this part of town because it's the sleepy part of town where there's not a lot of businesses, and you can find nice shady spots to chill and hang out. So anyhow, I love their food over at La Serena. Anybody that lives here, I think just about everybody loves La Serena's food. And let's just post up right here. Okay, there we go. So yeah, I eat there 2 to 5 times a week for my lunch, and I can always count on grass-fed meat, fresh fish, fresh guacamole, best guacamole in town. And so what we wanted to do today is talk about healing and the process of healing. Just that, things actually take time, and it took a little time for that truck to go by and stop with all that racket. But things take time, you know. I think about the Italian guy that comes to America, and his family owned a winery in Italy. And so he grew up being a vintner, a family of vintners that made their own wine. Hi, Horst. Good to see you, buddy. You going to get your swim in?
Yeah.
We're on YouTube Live. We do a little TV show, a Lunch with the Doc, every Wednesday.
Good to see you. That's
Good to see you.
fantastic.
You
Yeah.
in good shape?
I miss you up at the. I am. Thanks to you,
Yeah.
all the help that you gave me over the years.
Well, thank you so
So
much.
grateful to you, Gary.
Thank you. I
Yeah.
really appreciate it.
Yeah, you look really healthy. And
Thank you. Feel
hope to see
good.
you at the pool real soon.
All right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Take care, Gary.
See ya. one of our finest architects in town, Horst. And so the way the story goes is that he comes to America and he doesn't have a winery, and so he thinks, all right, that's what I really want to do in my life. I know it so well. I've come through generations of vintners and family wineries. So what does he have to do? Now, if he weren't a wise man, he would think like, okay, I'm going to buy a piece of land and then I'm going to have a winery. Well, there's a process, isn't there? You have to find the right piece of land, preferably on a south-facing slope for good sun exposure. You have to have a water source. Then once you find that piece of property, you have to have the money to buy it. Then you have to clear the soil, clear the rocks, clear the trees. Have to put your irrigation system in. You have to then plant your rows of grapes, get the stock, a good one, and you have to know which grape is going to do well in that climate. And then you have to plant it, make sure that you got a good fertilizer, hopefully not Roundup, called glyphosate, which is horrible. Please drink organic wine, because it's wreaking havoc. It's a neurotoxin. Roundup, I don't want to go off on a tangent, but back to the story. So he knows there's a process, and it's going to take time before he actually tastes his first glass of wine. This is probably a 4 or 5 year process before he's going to taste the first bottle of wine that was from his vineyard, right? And so after he plants it, he fertilizes it, then he's going to go from there. He's going to take and pick the grapes, smash the grapes, strain it, get the fluid, put it in the containers, let it ferment. Then once he lets it ferment, then he pours this bottle of wine, and then he may age it again in the bottle of wine for a while. We're telling about the vintner, and that it takes time to go from a dream of wanting to have a bottle of wine from your own winery, if you don't even have a winery. It's a process. And I wanted to tell that story because, a person who's a farmer or owns a winery knows that there's a process to it. It's not just as though it's like, hey, I want some wine from my own winery and snap, I got it. Like I dream of Genie or rubbing a lantern and you get three wishes and all of a sudden, that happens. That's not how it happens, and that's not really how it happens with our health either. I think people have gotten so used to these instant fixes. I'm going to take 3 Advil and all my pain's going to go away, and that's what pharmaceutical drugs, and that's really pharmaceutical drugs, there's a time and a place for them. But in terms of really bringing long-lasting healing and fixing the cause of the symptom, that's a whole different topic, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that, the prescription drugs, that mentality gives us the idea, we have shoulder pain, and so we take Advil and it numbs it, and we kind of get the thought that, oh, I'm feeling better, I'm healed. So then we have this mentality
cortisone shot. In there. Oh, hey, my shoulder's fine.
Yeah. So then we get the mentality that healing is instantaneous and healing is easy, and then when you're in the process of doing, more integrative, natural healing modalities, and things take time, it's kind of like, there's no patience for that, right? It's like, is this really working? But that is when we can change our thinking to recognize, oh, you know what? The body takes time to heal. That's the expectation that we should have. And when we can embrace that, then we can go on the healing journey with a right expectation, and then we're able to really, take challenges that come, the time it takes, and put the work in, and that's where we see the real results that are really going to last. So
it's true. I have another analogy. Let's walk over here. We're going to go over to McDonald's Gallery. Yeah, I've never eaten lunch over there. It's a wonderful place just to camp out and, you almost feel like you're a millionaire at your own museum or something. But,
it's true.
Teresa, did you have braces growing up on your teeth?
No.
No. Mo, you didn't either.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. But how many of you out there had braces on your teeth? Your teeth were crooked. And why in the world did you do it? Why would people get braces on?
Well, because their teeth are crooked.
Yep.
They want to have a beautiful smile.
Yep.
And maybe their bite is off, so that can have problems for your teeth and your chewing and your health, your digestion. So there's a lot of reasons for having braces.
Now, do you think that any kids have ever wished that the process would be instantaneous?
Oh, I'm sure. My little sister, Eliana,
Yeah.
she has had it for many years. And she's like, okay, I think I'm going to get them off now. And get 'em off.
Yeah.
She keeps thinking that, but you know, it takes time.
It does take time. Yeah. Let's see. I might sit right here.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can pull up a seat for you somehow.
It's alright. This is good.
Set it on tripod, didn't you?
Yep.
Hey. So, oftentimes the process of fixing crooked teeth, it can take 2-3 years, and then after you finally get your teeth straight, then you wear your retainer for a while because you don't want it to go backwards into the pattern that it was originally straightened from. Correct? So that takes time, and a lot of things do take time. I mean, I remember I heard a story about this wealthy man, and he was being interviewed by a young entrepreneur. It was a college project, and he had to interview some very wealthy people. And so he took the guy out to lunch, and he said, "What would you say was the most helpful thing that helped you to become so wealthy and so successful?" He says, "Well, it all boils down to one book." He says, "One book?" He says, "Yeah, and I'm sure you've read it." He goes, "Really? How would you be sure?" Because just about every child has read the book. And he goes, "And it all boils down to this." He says, "Sir, what's the book?" And he says, "The Tortoise and the Hare." The tortoise and the hare. Now, what would that have to do with being successful? Does that have any relevance to what we're talking about right now? You think?
I think this.
Well, it's just a slow, steady process with your mind on the goal is going to get you there faster than these little juts of time where, oh, I'm really going to do this, and then, oh yeah, it didn't work very fast, and that didn't work. Or, you know, I wanted to look like Arnold Schwarzenegger 3 months after I started working out, when there's no way that that's going to happen. So anyhow, Teresa, tell me, how does it look better if I squint and wrinkle my forehead, or does it look better with these on?
Whatever's comfortable. You look pretty darn cool like that.
Is that okay? Okay. I think
I'd say thumbs up.
All right. So, yes, we talked a little bit about this instant gratification mode that's really so prevalent right now, and that's really not a ticket that's ever going to provide any kind of lasting change. So I've given you a couple examples of, you know, going the distance. And let's just talk about your why. Why in the world would you ever want to remodel your house? Why would you spend all the money to remodel your house, go through getting your permits, finding a contractor, tearing your house apart, moving somewhere else, or putting up with the dust, and spending all that money? Why in the world would you remodel a house?
Maybe because you're not really happy with the way it is right now, and you have a vision of how you want it to be and how your life could change if it was that way, and you want to enjoy the delight of maybe a new kitchen or a new bathroom, new living room. So you have the vision in mind, you want to get there, so you're going to put the work and time and energy, oh, like guacamole looks good, in to get there, right? I'm sure many of you watching have remodeled a house or known someone who's remodeled a house or part of their house. So it's an important process, and it does take time, and it often takes longer than you think. We just remodeled our kitchen, and we're like, you know, it should be done by maybe midsummer. So we were going to have
We replaced some flooring and some cabinets and got a different fridge in. But it was still took way longer than we wanted to.
Yeah, we were like, all right, it'll be done by the summer. And then they were like, okay, it'll be done by October. You know, we're going to have like a little celebration when it was done. And then
It always takes more time than you think, and it usually always costs more than you think. But so much for construction. That's just another story, but I'm trying to bring these stories up so that you'll understand anything really of great value usually takes time, but it's worth it. And so therefore, if you really do understand what you'd want to experience, what your life would look like if you actually got it, if you stayed the course, and you knew how it's affecting your life and not have it right now, then you kind of are set up for the consistency of doing your home care exercises on a regular basis, eating right, drinking your water, keeping focused on the goal, focused on why this is going to be so good for you to do, and that yes, there'll be an end to it. It doesn't go on forever. Remodeling your house or making a winery, it doesn't go on forever. It's a season. It's a season where you do the work, and sometimes season can take more than one season. But it's just a process of anything. I mean, think about Michelangelo and the Statue of David. Here we are looking at these beautiful statues that are created here. I mean, look at what he's done. I mean, these don't happen overnight.
So beautiful.
They start with a sketch. You find a model. You get your clay, or you have your marble, and you go through a process. So,
Did we talk about how healing returns in cycles?
yes. Well, not to the degree that I think it's
So, if you can picture, a graph here, I'm going to create it if I can. So, you start down here, well, we can say you start up here. When you're younger, you feel good most of the time, and then you kind of have a health challenge, right? So your health declines a little bit. So you're down here, maybe you're in pain, you have an injury, you're having immune issues, whatever it may be. So you start up here, your health goes down here, right? And you want to be back up here. You want to be feeling good again. So along that journey, it doesn't just go like this. It's not a straight shot up back to where you want to go. You get a little better, and then you might start feeling a little worse again, and then you get a little better, and then you start feeling worse again, and then you get a little better, a little worse, a little better, and then a plateau for a while, then you come up. But all along the way, in that process, as you go up and down, you're still on the trajectory of healing. You're still working towards your goal. So it's really important to know that as you're on this healing journey, that there's gonna be dips. There's times when you go back down and you're saying, why am I putting all this effort into healing when I'm not getting better? I feel like I'm getting worse. But when you can see that your trajectory is still upward, you're on the pattern of healing. And oftentimes when you're healing, there can be really crazy things that happen. Like when you're doing a detox, you can feel horrible for a couple days because you're detoxing. That's part of releasing, the toxins that are in your body, the things that you've been carrying for so long that your body's kind of just tried to cope. So you have all these coping mechanisms within your body that could be, whether it's toxins or whether it's low back pain. When you start to, work out the muscles, things start shifting, and then it's like, whoa, I had all this underlying scar tissue pain that my body was just coping with, that eventually down the road it's going to create much bigger issues. And as you work that out, it does create some pain sometimes, and that's all part of healing. So when you know that going in, you can embrace the healing process with much more encouragement and not allow those hiccups and those bumps in the road to discourage you and make you feel like you're not making progress when really you are. So it's important to see that trajectory, see that kind of graph. Do you find that in a lot of, patients you work with, that, it's a journey, and how do you usually walk patients through that place when they feel like, today I'm not feeling so well, and how do you walk them through that place?
I start with a detailed assessment of where they currently are. We use something called outcome assessments, which are a series of questions that you answer. And the way you answer them gives you a current status like a level of disability. So let's say someone takes a low back questionnaire, and they start off the way they answer the questions, and they have a 62% disability from their low back pain. Then we do all the orthopedic tests, the range of motion tests, the neurological evaluation, and we assess where are they compared to normal. And now we have these baselines. And then we show the patient, hey, these baselines, these abnormals create a diagnosis. You tell us what you want to do about that diagnosis. If this is something you said you wanted to change, and you want to change it for good, then you've already got the leverage on yourself, so you know why you're going to do what you're going to do. But I have to be able to measure to myself. As a provider, I have to see that what we're doing is getting better. This is about return on investment. If you're going to invest in healthcare, which can be expensive, everybody knows. Look what's happening in the insurance industry now. We're paying more and more and more, and we're getting less and less and less. Basically, healthcare is turning into something. If you want good healthcare, you got to basically pay for it yourself. Except for the big catastrophic things, like surgeries and cancer care and all that kind of stuff. At least that's what insurance is turning into. But I have to measure, like when an orthopedist writes a prescription to a physical therapist, it's like, okay, 3 times a week for 4 weeks, and then measure the progress. That's the same way we run it too. We've been trained in physical therapy and rendering services and measuring before and after. And I have to see that a patient's improving with what we're doing, because every plan of care that we do is a trial of therapy. We have to see that it's improving and it's making a difference. That 62% disability came down to a 48% disability in, a month, let's just say. Okay, we're making progress. Yeah, we're not done yet, but the reality is you're making progress. Time's going to go by one way or another. It took me 9 months when I was 27 to fix my body and my spine and go from completely whacked out x-rays and horrible symptoms to perfect x-rays and no symptoms. It took me 9 months at that time because I had someone that explained to me the process, that it returns in cycles. And yeah, there were ups and downs and plateaus and everything, but if you draw that straight line through the graph, it's an upward trajectory. It's just highs and lows along the way. And that should be expected.
Yep.
So I think it's realistic to have a realistic expectation, and check in with yourself, check in with your spouse. Why would they want you to get better? I mean, think about how your problems are affecting your kids and your friends and your wife. That's the reason I actually did it at 27. My best friend was so tired of seeing me sneezing and complaining about my mid-back pain and all this kind of, like, Gary, do something about it. And then I went to the chiro. I didn't even like chiropractors. I don't know why. It was just, I grew up in Marxist Welby land and Dr. Kildare. You're raised with regular doctors or medical doctors, and chiros are, I don't know, they're quacks or something. But that's what I thought. But this guy actually showed me why I had my problems, and he offered me a solution. But there had to be checkpoints along the way to make sure it was happening. And for me, it worked an amazing miracle. Yeah. And I've never had problems again. So
it is. The hope is there. The solution that you're looking for is there. So if you can, embrace the healing process, and instead of running to the quick fixes that are never going to get you to where you want to be, embrace that healing. Dr. G's and so many patients that, who have really found the solution that they're looking for, and it's beautiful. They're restored to a life that they love. They're able to do the things that they really enjoy with the ones that they love most, and that's the quality of life that really is, the value that we all have. It's how is your quality of life? That's really, at the end of the day, everything, so yeah. So healing takes time.
And one other thing you were saying that reminded me, like when I just did this fast that I went on, there was one day where I really felt kind of funky, and it just kind of reminded me of, like, yeah, I am cleaning my body out, but I mean, if you think about the fact that you take out a trash can that's been sitting there for a long time, there's all kinds of food particles and stuff like that, it stinks. And you're taking it out to the trash can, you're like, it's right there, and your smell is like, whew, this thing stinks. Get it out of here. Throw it in the other trash can. I mean, hey, it's a process to get the trash out of your house and take it to the trash can. It's a process. And somewhere along the line, sometimes it stinks. It's not, I mean, everybody wishes that they didn't have to do as much work as they need to. And think that that's for a lot of healthy people. That's one of the most challenging things, because we think that great health and living a quality of life where there's no pain and no limitation is just a given. That's how it should be. And some people just kind of get pissed off that they have to do work.
Yeah, it's true. So when we can change our perspective on it, that gives us the encouragement and the motivation that we need. When we say, okay, you know what? Everybody has to work at their health, some more than others. But when we recognize, you know, it's a process that we all have to walk through. Everybody has their things, you know. So, and it's just how do we respond to those, and how do we interact with them, and what's our how encouraged are we to keep moving forward. So that's what we wanted to do today, is just bring you some encouragement that you know, healing is possible. It's a process and a journey. Embrace the journey, and if we can be a part of that journey with you, we would love to do that. We've been a part of thousands of people's journeys of health, and that is our highest joy. That's why we do what we do, is just seeing people restore to the flourishing life that they're looking for. So we always do a special on these Lunch with the Doc series, where you can come in and take a look at your health, take a look at the things that you know, are challenging you. And so today we wanted to offer a special to you to come in, and so we're going to offer a special for you to come in and do either, if you're looking for, you know, biochemical work, looking at the toxins, the immune issues, the digestive issues that you're having. There's an assessment for that. There's also an assessment if you have structural issues that you're looking at, if that's low back pain, neck pain, scoliosis, sciatica, anything like that, disc issues, or if there's an emotional pain that you're working through that's causing, you know, stress and pain in your body. We'll look at that through something called NET, neuro-emotional technique. So we want to offer you our really amazing special today to come in for either one of those 3 assessments for a special price of $97. So that's something that you want to do and you're looking at coming in and starting your health journey. Give us a call. You can call us at 949-497-2553, and we'd love to walk alongside you. So that's our Lunch with the Doc special today. And we do these Lunch with the Docs every Wednesday at 12:30 live. So join us next week. We'll be on again.
Some are longer, some are shorter. Some we're eating while we're talking, some we're not.
It is called Lunch with the Doc, so you get to see our lunch world, what we do for nutrition.
One last thing. In the movie Patriot, I remember that he said, that his wife always said, stay the course. That's what you got to do. Stay the course, get what you're looking for. I mean, Teresa, come over here for a second.
Oops! Didn't see that.
Teresa, sit up. Teresa worked with us. She's a world-class paddler. And tell, what can you say from your vantage point? Here you've worked out and trained so hard. What can you say along these lines that might be helpful for someone?
I think the most important thing, like you were saying here, is getting in tune with your body. And I listen to every single ailment that comes up during my training and then get it looked at. It's so important. Like you say, there are little setbacks, it hurts a little here, but I get it taken care of. Right now, I'm totally pain-free. When I started working here, I had a shoulder issue right here, but I've been getting therapy for years and getting that worked on, and now it's gone. Every time there's any kind of issue, I get it looked at right away. So I try to be preventive as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, especially when you're an athlete and like your body is, you know, the value that you have, and so you have to take care of it. You got to get what it needs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is the driver behind everything that we do.
Yeah, totally.
On the water.
And I was thinking about, you know, what you've done. I mean, some of your longer races. I mean, you're battling some major conditions out there, aren't you?
Yeah. Wind, waves, you know, current.
Wow.
Yeah. Heavy boats sometimes.
So what are
as
some
well.
of your longest paddles?
The longest one is we start at Newport Beach, the harbor there, the harbor mouth, and then we paddle over to Catalina Island. Yeah,
So
that's
it's
the longest one.
23 miles?
About 23, 24
Wow.
miles. Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
And I end up ironing it pretty much every year.
Wow.
So I'll go for 4, 5 hours without
Wow.
getting out of the boat and paddling.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot, but you know, just working out and staying healthy and being preventive. Really helpful.
That's incredible.
Mhm.
Now,
So cool.
I'm a lot older than most people watching, but there was this TV show named Dobie Gillis, and there was this beatnik on the show. He was a beatnik. They were before hippies, and they used to do poetry and grow goatees and have hair and wear sunglasses, and they do like this instead of clapping, and they smoked a lot of now legal marijuana back then, but every time Dobie Gillis would say something about that, his name was Maynard G. Krebs. Hey Maynard, we need to go over here and do some work. He goes, work, work, work. You know, work was his key word that would make him run away. He didn't want to work for anything. So consider there's benefits to doing work. Yeah, it may not be the simple, easy, cream puff deal, but the reality is, if you do the work, you're going to get the prize. You got to pay the price to get the prize,
Yep.
right? So whatever we can do to keep that price from being as minimal as possible for you to get the prize, we're looking forward to helping you. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.
Come see us at Health and Balance.